have some help in handing these out, please? This is, I thought that you might like to have something in your hand by way of an update on what's been happening with Renew Oxford, Love Oxford. So, has anyone been around Oxford long enough to remember this?
Yes.
This is not the first Love Oxford. This couldn't have been the first Love Oxford that we ever did because there's a picture of one already. This was the second one that we did back in 2007 when fonts and dress sense were a little bit different. The beginnings of something called Love Oxford were a new day in the unity of churches in the city, and for a period of 14 years we ran events in Broad Street, in South Park. In the last 5 years now, from 22, 3, 4, 5, and now 2026, we've run something a bit different called Renew Oxford, which came on the back of the pandemic, looking to make our contribution to the renewal of the city. And hopefully you're aware, but Love Oxford has not gone away. It continues to exist, but only now in termly meeting the pastors from different churches who gather together. And I've put here some very occasional city prayer meetings. We've had a few over the years. But there's been, more recently, more collaborative working, even though we have the big events, more collaborative working between those churches, things like Safe Families, you just heard of, and the Oxford Churches Debt Centre, to name just a couple. In the last 18 months, 2 years, we engaged as Renew Oxford in a mapping project asking what churches exist, what are they doing, what do different churches have appetite to do for the city and to do for the city together. If you've not previously engaged with the outcome of that and you want to see the mapping report, there's a link there. We discovered that the church in Oxford, oh, that's another one of those events, there we go, and then we're mapping. We discovered that there's 174, it's in now, isn't it?
No.
No? Is it not? Is it not? Just
No, it's gone off.
well, 174 churches in the city, which makes Oxford a very thoroughly churched city, right? That's a lot for this. That's about 1 per 1,000 people living in the city. And it's the number of churches has been growing rapidly, particularly in the last 25 years, and they're very diverse. I had a conversation not sometime in the last year with the City Council's chief executive, with Caroline, and said to her, you know, we've done this mapping and we've shown that whereas people's perception of the church is often that it's old, white and declining, that's not the truth. That actually it's people of all generations, it's incredibly diverse and it's growing rapidly. She's like, you know, I live in East Oxford and I've never really quite seen it, but as soon as you tell me that, I know that to be true because of what I see around me in the community. That mapping also showed where there are areas of appetite for working together, holistic support for families, homes, mental health, and continuing to work on collaboration. So just picking up on the last one of those, that continuing to enable collaboration, we have found wonderfully support from Viva Network, who supported the mapping, offering us their training course about how is it that networks thrive going forward. And through that, we've come up with fresh clarity about a few things. And you can see in the note there, it says, refreshing Love Oxford. For the last 5 years, there's been this dual identity of Love Oxford in the background and Renew Oxford as part of that conversation around post-COVID renewal. And we've just faced up to the fact that that's needlessly confusing and complicated, and that there's much more love and affection for the Love Oxford branding than has ever been generated around Renew Oxford. Love is a good word, and so we're going to lean into Love Oxford. We've got a new logo, which is very exciting, and we've clarified the hub. That was easy. I just asked the graphic designer to do that. That was easy. The hard work has been clarifying a basis of unity for churches that are part of Love Oxford, which didn't used to exist, and creating a steering group. So you've already looked over the page and seen the logos of all of those churches that have already gone through the process of saying, we understand what the basis of our unity is, and we're in. That basis of unity is roughly put, we believe the Nicene Creed, it will play nicely. And those who joined up have the opportunity to nominate people to sit on a steering group, and there are 6 of us who are on that steering group, which provides some clarity and transparency around leadership, which is essential for moving forward. In that process, I'm not quite sure where this phrase first popped into my consciousness, but I found it very helpful that whoever's been playing a leading role in a network puts their fingerprints on it.
Yeah.
And that I've taken a leading role over the last 5 years, and whatever Renew Oxford has been, it's got some other people's fingerprints on, but it's got a lot of my fingerprints on it. And that what we really want going forward is for more people to put their fingerprints on it. And as I've led, I have led strongly on the opportunity for collaborative social action coming out of the pandemic. There's been an underemphasis along the way on our gospel proclamation. And so today's event is marking some changes. And the reason that we've got baskets under your chair, we pass those around, just got a little something for you to help clarify a change that is happening as more fingerprints get placed on who we are together. These are little sewing kits that say on them goodness, truth, and the beautiful city. And the reason that there's a sewing kit is I don't think any of you look dishevelled. That's not the reason why. It's just this little thing that a needle by itself is not super useful, and a thread by itself is also not so useful. But a needle and thread together can do incredible things, create things of use and things of beauty as well, and even, please, William Morris, perhaps some things that are both useful and beautiful. Isn't that amazing? And so this is just for you to have, just as a reminder that there's a step change moment for us where we're considering together this morning both goodness and truth. And I think I should stop there and hand over to Andy.